All right, well, welcome to the R&R Show. Sit back and relax and enjoy the best little sports show ever. I'm your host, Michael Roope, and to the left of me is my co-host, William Rumsey. Hello, William.
Who dat?
All right, well, obviously with it being Super Bowl weekend and us being such Bengal homers, we wanted to talk a little bit about the upcoming draft and free agency and seeing what our thoughts on who we're going to obviously leave and cut ties with, and obviously who we're looking to draft.
Yeah. So free agency starts first, I believe. That starts in March.
Yes.
Second week of March,
and
maybe.
That may be my favorite time of the year.
Yeah, you get fired up
I
for it.
do, because it's like a little Christmas wish list, like, who are we going to go after?
Because there's some guys you see me like, do you think the Bengals will go after them? I'm like, there's no way in hell. And I'm like, but it gets me excited because I'm like, well, maybe.
Yeah,
I don't know. Because the Bengals, let's be honest, the last 3 years has surprised us that they have started to dip their toes in free agency. So it is still exciting for us. Before 3 years ago, we hadn't experienced that. So... this is an interesting. I mean, they're always interesting off seasons, but I do think that
this will be a real interesting one. And real quick before I forget, I should say the Bengals made the right call, because I know I was on the Ryan Jensen bandwagon. I believe you were too, and they did not sign him, and now he's retired.
Yeah,
so.
Well, I mean, it's because we just saw the offensive line issues. So I think we were just like, give us something to protect the franchise. But we got Kappa. He seems to be...
Yeah.
Last year, he seemed maybe to take a step back in a few
little
games.
bit.
But, the Bengals are definitely throwing money at the offensive line.
Correct. As well they should. We got to protect our franchise. But, speaking of the offensive line, I believe we have one guy that we have to make a decision on, and that would be Jonah Williams.
Jonah Williams. I do believe that he's probably played his last game in stripes.
And I think that makes me happy.
Yeah. I don't think that it's not going to be a Jesse Bates situation where they franchised him and then he walked. And I think we're going to let Jonah find greener pastures, and none of us will be disappointed. We've just seen too many times where the pockets collapsed, and Jonah's been a part of that.
Yeah,
Jonah's
been a huge part.
I think he's going to be pricey too.
Yeah.
From everything I've been reading, I'm like,
and he's not worth one plug nickel.
No, where the Bengals are, I mean, I would rather. You can't tell me that a first or second round pick. I mean, I guess I should say never wouldn't be better
than what we got out of Jonah. Yeah.
At least similar.
I would be shocked. I mean, there's a lot of ways they can go this time around in the draft. Before we go into that, I just think, like you said, Jonas played his last snap. Irv Smith, what do you think about him?
He's gone.
I believe so too. Irv Smith gone. What do we say about Joe Mixon?
That's a tough one, because I know Mike Brown loves him, and he doesn't like to do restructures because he just doesn't like to do that. It's tough. My heart tells me that he'll be back. Or not my heart. My brain tells me that he'll be back.
I'll say this. For what we paid him out of the production we got, he did well for us last year. But that being said,
things change.
Running back is such an easy. If we're going to throw money at somebody, let's do the line. Let's do other areas, because I just feel if you get that correct, anybody running behind him is going to be good. So Chase Brown emerged last year, and I think we get another, maybe dip in and get a running back in the fourth or fifth again. Because the league has now figured out, just pay the minimum to these running backs,
right?
And don't put any resources towards them. I say cut him.
There's an Excel spreadsheet that is out there.
Handwritten?
Yeah. That shows inside joke. Shows the last 15, 20 years of Super Bowl winners and what they've paid the running back position. And it's so minuscule of what they've paid the running backs. Isaiah Pacheco, he was a 7th round pick. How the hell that guy dropped to the 7th round is amazing. But then you have, on the flip side, you have Bijan Robinson and Jahmyr Gibbs going in the first round. I don't think either one of those teams are unhappy that they took those guys.
No, but I'm just saying for how this.
But with free agent running back, like I saw Josh Jacobs being thrown around. I just think that's a lateral move.
No.
I don't, for the money that you would have to pay him, I just would not. And
if you're going to go that route, then just get Saquon. I mean, if you go that route. But I don't think they should, because I just think the running back position nowadays, you can get that on the cheap. I say cut, you say maybe keep.
Well, I just think that they will.
Yeah. Now what? Now the big,
I mean, if it were up to me, I would go your route. Is probably make him take a pretty healthy pay cut so you can pay other guys, or cut him.
Now the big one on everybody's mind's T. Higgins.
T. Higgins.
Yeah. Now again, for what he's given us, and as much as he stayed on the field, cut him. I say cut him. What do you say?
Man, that one's so tough, and we've been talking about this for a couple of years, because are they going to be able to pay Chase and Burrow and then Higgins as well? Man, it's just there's a part of me, because the franchise tag is $20 million. So if they keep him for one more year, that'd be $20 million. That'd be
if you're going to
that'd be a third of their salary, what they have available, unless they cut other people, third of what they'd have available.
If you're going to keep
I love T. Higgins.
If you're going to keep him, just franchise him for the 1 year and then cut ties. But I do not want us to allocate a long-term contract for T.
Yeah, and that's fair. I mean, just with him being injured the last couple of years, having to pay Chase.
He's had a lot of drops.
This year he had quite a few drops, but then he also had games like Minnesota. But on the flip side, Burrow can probably. I don't think it's just he can make anybody great. I think the offense, when Higgins and Chase are at full bore, the offense does work better. But I don't know.
I disagree. I think Joe Burrow can make anybody look great with given the amount of time.
And that may be true. That may be true.
So let me ask you this. Obviously.
But what do you think they will do? Do you think they'll? I know what you want them to do, but what do you? That's what it always comes down to.
I truly probably think they'll franchise him for a year, then cut ties, because once the Chase contract, it's just going to be too. But I think they want to try to have everybody healthy for one run to get the ring.
Yeah.
And they want to keep cohesiveness. So I think they will keep him. I think they'll definitely cut Jonah and Irv. Because I do love the Hudson Hornet. I think he's really established himself. I think that they will go tackle in the draft, depending on who falls to him, or a defensive tackle.
Yeah.
Or a safety. I mean, my God, our safety play was atrocious.
There's been a lot of talk about. I think Jordan Battle is a dude. I think he's going to be good, but I think Dax. I mean, that was his first year playing, but he just didn't.
Cam Taylor-Britt's a stud.
Taylor-Britt's a stud.
What do you think about our boy, the defensive end?
Miles Murphy?
No, not him. Hubbard.
Yeah, there was a little talk on our group chat last
night. Get rid of him. I know he had that huge, return for a touchdown. But my God, he does not look good.
No, he struggled this year. And I read he struggled with injuries. It was amazing, apparently, that he got out there every Sunday.
I don't want to hear it.
The Bengals don't like to do restructuring and stuff like that. But there's a couple guys that Mixon and Hubbard being two, that, hey.
They better restructure.
We're going to, with the way things are going right now. I mean, because that. Like you said, the Hudson Hornet, I don't think that they can just go in with the Hudson Hornet. I think they need another tight end, whether they spend a second or a third round pick.
Is Sample done?
I don't think so. I really don't think so. I think he's got blackmail pictures of Mike Brown.
Yeah, it's interesting to see how they just, But again, it goes back to what I think.
I think that's
Joe Burrow can make anybody look good, and really, he's made Sample look decent when given the opportunity.
Yeah, I think that still is the most mind-boggling draft pick of in Bengals history. Maybe
it is.
We were all like, "Who is that?"
So, obviously, talking about the free agents, is there any of them? I've been on the Mike Evans bandwagon. You think that they would have to pay him as much as they pay T. I don't think they would, but
Just with what I've been seeing on various websites, free agent predictions that they're predicting he's going to get kind of a hefty short-term contract, maybe like a 2 or 3 year deal with a lot of money. And the year that he had, again, another fantasy guy of mine that led me to a championship. But the year that he had this year, he was phenomenal.
yeah. He keeps on churning out those thousand.
And I kind of think he's just going to re-sign with Tampa.
They probably will. The funny thing is a lot of the big time free agents, they have them going to the Bengals. Saquon being another one. I don't see that. That's just not the way to do free agency anymore. Is to get a running back, get these cheap guys through the draft. I think Saquon goes back to the Giants as well.
It seems that the Bengals kind of MO is their free agency picks are on line play, cornerbacks, or something outside of the skill positions.
Now, speaking of line play, this is the one I would not be mad at, and I think he's always spoke very highly of the Bengals is Chris Jones. I would absolutely. I would be elated if Chris Jones came to the Bengals.
You talk about cap gymnastics, what they would have to do to get him in the fold would be crazy. But he's a game wrecker. We've seen it.
They have him projected as Bengals as one of the top 3 landing spots. That would be if the Bengals could navigate that. Now that would mean cutting ties probably with T, but
and DJ Reader, I would say.
Well, if we could get a Chris Jones,
right?
That guy, he wrecks everything.
He does. No, I don't think he is in the Bengals MO because he's 30, 31, paying because. He played on a tag this year. My guess is he's going to want... I don't know how that contract's worked out, like if he can go back on the free agent market or if they can tag him again. But this is going to be his final big payday, I would say. So it's not going to come cheaply. I just can't see them doing it.
Yeah,
I would love it. I'm with you.
I think this window for the Bengals is now. We've been saying that. I think the chip's got to be in for these next 2 years.
Yeah, because the thing that's kind of skewed thinking in the NFL, I believe, is the way these quarterbacks like Aaron Rodgers, Brady, all these guys playing till their late 30s and early 40s, I don't think you can bank on that.
Yeah.
With Burrow, I would love, if somebody said Burrow's going to play till his 40s, perfect world, the next 3 to 4 years of Burrow, I think it's going to be his prime.
It's going to be key. So, well, let me ask you this. What obviously that we think the timing is now. I was a little. Have we gotten an offensive coordinator? Have we elevated anybody?
Dan Pitcher, who was the
QB coach.
QB coach, he has been elevated to, and then they've pulled a couple other guys.
What do you think about that? You like that?
Burrow seems to love him. Now that doesn't.
That's key.
He's like, I wouldn't be the quarterback today without Pitcher. I think Burrow's in really good hands with Zach Taylor and Pitcher.
But now, who was calling the play calls? Was it Zach or was it?
It was Zach, but I'm guessing Callahan had a. They're probably.
So why would So my question is why would the Titans want Callahan if it was always widely known? What I thought too was Zach calling the plays. What are we doing there?
Why would the Titans want that? My guess is he interviewed very well. Because
he would have had to.
Well,
because I didn't like the play calls.
I can't say this for certain, but I think if over the last 3 or 4 years if Burrow wasn't happy with Callahan or Taylor or whomever, I don't think they would have been there. So there was some. Callahan's got.
I would have loved the Bengals to try to get Cliff Kingsbury, Chip Kelly. I want Burrow in a fast, boom, 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 boom. I want to see some fireworks.
I want to see him in a McDaniel offense.
Oh my God! He would tear things up. I bet McDaniel wishes he could be the head coach of the Bengals. Oh God, that would be something special.
Yeah. Yeah,
can we get the Cheetah over here too?
Cheetah, Chris Jones.
Oh my God, Donnie's getting excited over here. But no, I think the free agents. This is going to be
it's going to be a weird off offseason because I think they could use cornerback help, like you said, safety help. Linebackers had a rough year last year. The defensive line struggled.
Well,
the defense as a whole, man, it was Bates and Bell, and I knew that. When Bates was gone, I was like, that was the linchpin.
But the funny thing is like the shine kind of came off Louis, but I still think Louis is awesome. He makes very... He, it's hard to make a chef meal out of a bunch of slop, and there's some slop in there this year. So
it was just I think it was a transition year. I mean, losing Bates and Bell, and Louis said that before. He's like, losing both of those guys will change everything, and it did.
It did. I mean, so that's why I think you have to have. And they thought what's-his-face from the Rams was going to be somebody that would help Jordan battle along. And we got to get rid of Nick, get somebody a little bit better back there to help Jordan along a little bit.
Yeah, and it seems like, this isn't, it kind of is, but it isn't about free agency in the draft. The Bengals, and a lot of it outside of their control, they just start off so damn slow.
They do.
Well,
he hasn't had a full offseason once. So I'm telling you, mark it down now. 5,000 yards, 50 touchdowns for
Deja vu.
Yes.
Deja vu all over again.
Just have to be healthy. Have to be healthy, and then it comes together.
He's so good.
I know. I'm excited. Bengal fans are excited. I cannot
Somebody
wait.
hose us down.
Yes,
all right, God, it's February. We're
free agency's right around the corner. And,
it is.
But, the whole T. Higgins will have to iron.
That's the biggest. I think that's
we're going to know pretty soon in free agency what they're going to do with T, because obviously if they go after a receiver, we know T's days are not.
Crazy thing about T, like everything I heard and saw, over the last couple months about, he's like, loves the Bengals locker room, everything. There was a video of him came out. What am I getting, puberty? A video that came out a couple days ago or yesterday that they interviewed him, asking him about going to Tennessee as a free agent. He said, hey, I would like that. That would be me going home. I know the head coach.
Yeah.
Well, and I'm like, oh, man, has conversations already been had?
Yeah, I'm just telling you, those things are, he's open. He'll be open to anything, but that's maybe a leverage move.
But do you tag him, and then everybody talks about tagging him and trading him? I think just letting him go would just
doesn't make sense. But because they could have got a pretty penny for him when he was being tousled around.
Yeah.
A year ago as trade bait going into last season. So.
But he's still around the league. I mean, you look at all those free agency lists. I mean, he's top 5 in almost every one of them.
Yep.
I mean, he's 24 years old.
He's a youngster. He just had a lot of drops.
Caught a couple Super Bowl touchdowns. I mean, it's
Yeah, it'll be fun. So,
one thing, what do you think they will take in the first round of the draft?
A tackle.
You think so?
Yeah.
Okay. I agree with that.
Yeah, I mean,
But they just do different things, man. I feel like sometimes they just want to go against.
Watch him take a tight end this time when it's not a
if
tight
Bowers
end
is there,
he ain't gonna be there.
If Bowers is
there, we'll take him.
Maybe trade up.
That's not in the Bengals' MO either. Last time we did that, we got Big Daddy Dan Wilkinson, so that's not going to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, all right, well, we'll see you guys on the next episode. And,
Who Dey.
Who Dey.